Hi, this is Chief Education Officer Bill Olsen with another school system update. Well, it's the heart of winter. About a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, I happened to be mentioning to some colleagues how nice this winter has been, and that it was unusual that we had not had any snow days. Well, how things change and how things change so quickly. We're in about the third week in January right now, and we have just had 3 consecutive days of school canceled. I apologize that this has happened, but that is the reality of New England. We never know what the weather will bring, particularly when we have to make a decision at about 4:30 in the morning. You know, when it is questionable, and I know that because I've done it myself with our 4 children many years in the past, sometimes we'll take a look at the weather, and might be snowy in the morning. It might be beautiful and sunny in the afternoon, and we're questioning why was school canceled. Well, please know that we try to make decisions that are accurate, but also decisions that are based on the best interest of your child's safety and the safety of our staff. We do have staff that come from distances that are quite far away in some cases, up in middle New Hampshire, in the more snowy territory, and so sometimes it becomes a difficult task to travel to work. Sometimes it's difficult for our buses to navigate on icy or snow-covered streets, and so know that we don't look to cancel school if at all possible, but if conditions present themselves that are questionable in nature, if trees are down, if power lines are down, we will sometimes have to cancel because we don't want children walking near or in the vicinity, certainly at all, of down power lines that might be live, and in all cases probably are live. And so know that we err on the side of caution, and sometimes that's aggravating, sometimes that's disrupting to your job lives, and I understand that. But please understand we're trying to be as safe as possible with our students. Well, we're in the heart of budget season also. We've had some excellent budget meetings with the school board. They have all submitted a vast array of questions to us to answer for clarity purposes, so that they can understand what the programs and services are that the administration is proposing for the 2023-2024 school year. I want to compliment the school board for doing its due diligence and its very thorough review of the budget book and the documents supporting the budget that we have submitted to them. The questions have been quite good. They've been focused. They've been very relevant, and they are seeking to represent the needs of students and also the needs of taxpayers in Merrimack. So my thanks to the school board for that, and my thanks also for the budget committee. The school budget committee, we have had a couple of meetings now, review meetings. We'll continue with those over the next couple of weeks. I'm very impressed also with the school budget committee and the depth of knowledge that they possess. As you may or may not know, the budget committee assigns liaisons to elementary, middle, high school, district-wide, and special education and other areas of our school district operations. And the various liaisons, and there are several of them for each of the respective components in the school department, do an outstanding job in digging into what is being proposed, whether it's elementary, middle, high school, district-wide, you name it, special education. They do a very, very thorough job of understanding what the needs of students are, understanding what the needs of staff are, and what is being budgeted to advance the plan to improve the school system for the 2023-2024 school year. They're polite, they're respectful, they're very thorough, and I'm very impressed with the process that takes place in Merrimack. So congratulations to everyone, school board and school budget committee, for their outstanding due diligence and representation of both students, staff, and also the taxpayers in the town. All right, so onward to some of the great things that are happening in the school system, because we have outstanding staff doing tremendous work with our students. We're always very proud of both our staff and certainly our students. At Thornton's Ferry, Mrs. DeFrancisco's multi-age class in grades 3 and 4 have conducted a book drive and collecting oftentimes the new books. They have 3 large boxes of books that they are donating now to the Mastrocola Elementary School, grade 4. As you recall, several weeks ago, back just the day after Christmas, we had a major flood at the Mastrocola as a result of a pipe break. Pipes do freeze up sometimes in the wintertime. Sometimes they experience stress fatigue and they split in some way, shape, or form, or a cap will come off. And the 4th grade wing was flooded, lots of damage to materials and supplies. And so Mrs. DeFrancisco's class has generously collected 3 large boxes of books that will be donated to MES. And so thank you to Mrs. DeFrancisco, and thank you for her outstanding students also for really caring about their fellow students at MES and really doing something, stepping up and doing something about it. So we're very, very proud of them. At JMU's, Mrs. Damaris and Mrs. Goodman's 5th grade classes, about once a month, work with students in MES, and 2 of them in the area of literacy, and they act as mentors also. Now, this is very important because students in the 1st grade look up to their 5th grade fellow students and peers, sometimes their brothers and sisters or cousins or relatives, mentoring them, and it forms a very special bond and relationship. There's a very deep and respectful working relationship between both 5th grade and 1st grade students. Some of the interesting areas of literacy that they are working in is that some of the 5th graders have been talking with the 1st graders about the difference between fiction and nonfiction and what that looks like, figuratively, what it looks like in terms of the way a book is written, some of the artwork that might be present in a particular book. They've also been working with the 1st grade students in vowel sounds and other literacy components. And so I absolutely commend Mrs. Damaris and Mrs. Goodman and the 5th grade students for taking on a mentoring and teaching role. It is an outstanding example of teaching students how important it is to be a mentor for someone else, in this case 1st grade students at MES. And so we're very proud of our teachers and our students for that great, great work they're doing once a month. Also at JMU's, 2 teachers, Louis Malo and Jeannie Wagner, are running a cribbage and backgammon club for 5th and 6th graders. This is a great commitment on the part of our 2 staff members and our students, because that backgammon and cribbage club runs from October in the fall right through to the following May 30th. And so I congratulate the 2 teachers for engaging the students in both cribbage and backgammon. As you know, those after-school activities, the co-curricular activities, are very important for allowing students to explore areas of interest and passion. Sometimes that opportunity, because we have to conform with curriculum standards from the state, sometimes those opportunities don't present themselves to the greatest extent possible in the classrooms. But by participating in after-school co-curricular activities that are an extension oftentimes of a teacher's area of great passion and interest, a lot of students develop creative thinking processes, and it's extraordinarily helpful in terms of their development, their cognitive development, and their social development in dealing with their peers, their classmates, in those areas of common interest. So thank you to Mr. Malo and Mrs. Wagner for conducting those classes. Our excellent chemistry teacher, Sarah Campbell at Merrimack High School, has informed me that the Granite State Challenge is in process now, and the Merrimack Tomahawks will be taking on the John Stark Regional School District in competition. That will appear on New Hampshire Public Broadcasting on February 2nd. And we wish them the very best of luck. Just a brief note about Sarah Campbell. The Rotary Club, towards the end of the year, runs a dinner very, very well done, and we're very appreciative of it, for the top 10 scholars in the graduating class of Merrimack High School. Last year was my first year in Merrimack, and I attended that dinner, which was extraordinarily enjoyable, and done by the Rotary Club. And I was impressed with many of the students who got up to speak and cited Mrs. Campbell as their favorite teacher, someone who inspired and motivated them. And that will stay with those students. The interaction with Mrs. Campbell will stay with them for the rest of their lives. Because if I were to ask all of you to name a favorite teacher that you had in life, it wouldn't take you 3 seconds to think of someone, or maybe several teachers that you had, that meant something to you, who possessed a great depth of knowledge, who connected with you, who inspired and motivated you, who made you feel that you were special and that teacher believed in you. And that's what a great teacher is all about. That's what I heard from students in last year's graduating class about Mrs. Campbell. And I'm sure that that could be extrapolated to many, many other staff in the high school and throughout the entire school system at various respective grade levels. So keep an eye out for the Granite State Challenge. We wish the Merrimack team, the high school team, the Tomahawks, the best of luck. Also at the high school, this is a very interesting project, and we'll see how it turns out. Shana Gray has been working with the Lobster Boat, the Merrimack Lobster Boat restaurant, right down here on the Daniel Webster Highway, just around the corner from our central office of the school district. They are working collaboratively. She's working with Mrs. Johnston, the owner of, Janet Johnston, the owner of the Lobster Boat Restaurant, on a mural project. It's open to all of our students, elementary, middle school, high school students. They are to submit a mural that they feel would be appropriate for the Lobster Boat restaurant to have painted on the exterior of their restaurant. And so the winning design, the artist of the winning design will receive a $500 cash prize, and that will be awarded on April 30th. The winner will be selected. So a very, very interesting project. So we're hoping that the students will take a great interest. We thank Mrs. Johnston and the Lobster Boat Restaurant for collaborating with us in helping students work now on a project that extends beyond the school system and has some relevance and benefit to an organization, in this case a business, and a very viable, a very positive business in Merrimack. So I'm going to be interested to see what the winning mural looks like, and we'll congratulate the student before the school board sometime in May. At the middle school, Rich Loftus, who is a staff member there, has informed me that they have started a clothes closet. And yes, there may not be an extraordinarily large demand in Merrimack for clothing that has been contributed, but they are soliciting and receiving donations, oftentimes new clothing, brand new clothing that parents and community members are donating. And the title of the closet is Mary's Clothes Closet, named in honor of Mary Elizabeth Hauver, who is a staff member at the middle school. And she came up with the idea. As I said, someone will ultimately benefit from that during the course of the year and going forward. I want to remind parents of kindergarten-age children that kindergarten registration began on January 17th and is ongoing. It's rolling registration right through the end of this school year, through the summer, just prior to the beginning of the school year. We encourage parents to look on our district website that has directions on how to register and where to bring the forms when you want to register your child for kindergarten. We're always interested in seeing how many students are enrolled in the kindergarten program. It's probably one of the most unpredictable levels of enrollment projection in any school district. But we always love seeing new students come in, new parents come in, and existing parents who have students throughout the grade, throughout grade levels, and we welcome them each and every year. So kindergarten registration is ongoing right now. Our special education director, Heather Barker, will be conducting a very interesting session, a Zoom session online with Dr. Olsen, who is a well-known and highly respected psychologist, and their discussion with parents. It'll be a presentation, but also a interaction, and it will be on effective strategies fostering resilience in children and family relationships. Always of interest and always of relevance. It will be via Zoom, and we find that we have much higher participation when we have programs for parents via Zoom, because you don't have to leave your household, obviously. You can be, finishing up with dinner, with dishes, with anything else, helping the kids with the homework, or just relaxing and listening to a very enjoyable, a very informative session. That session will be on Wednesday, February 1st, from 6:30 to 7:45 p.m., and we hope you'll join in, because I think it's going to be a program of great interest. It's always enjoyable speaking with you. I'm going to ask you, if you have a child who has done something in school, who has accomplished something in school or in the community that you're very proud of, and your child is very proud of, bring your child by the office, because I'd love to meet them, and I'd love to meet you and hear all about what they have accomplished. I want to inspire and motivate children in this community. We all do. We all want to do that. And I'd love to hear the stories. I'd love to talk with your child, with you directly, and have them feel a great sense of pride, because I want to congratulate them on whatever they've done that you're proud of and they're proud of. Always enjoyable once again to speak with you. I'll see you next time. This is Bill Olsen. Have a wonderful day.